Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I am on day number 15 of the Into the Meadow meditations. And before I start, I decided I was going to pull a couple of tarot cards and see what they say with regards to the meditation. So, people are probably wondering, why is it that she's pulling cards if she's not really reading on anything specific? But what I am doing is I'm trying to see where the cards that I pull might correlate with what I'm discussing with the guides during the meditation. So there's that, to see if there's like a parallel between the cards and the discussions of that are being, the things that are being discussed in the within the confines of the meditation. So I want to see if there's a good correlation between the cards that I pull and the and if I'm reading the energy correctly, because what happens is sometimes what you do is when you start pulling cards, you start thinking, okay, I have to ask a specific question, or I have to do it in a certain way, and I have to see if this is going to work. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to see if the energies between the meditation, what I've written down in the meditation, and what I present to you as far as the reading of the meditation, and whether or not what I am reading in the meditation actually parallels to what I pull with the cards. So it's a little bit convoluted, but that is where I'm feeling drawn to do. So I'm going to give these a good mix. And again, I'm using the Cat Tarot cards with this reading to see what they have to say. Okay, here's the box. So this is this is in relation to my meditation. What cards can universe give to me with regards to the meditation? And I'm speaking today to Ramón, and as it is, somebody else comes into the conversation as well. So somebody I've not spoken to before. So this is kind of exciting. So let's see what the cards have to say. What cards do I pull today? Okay, Ramón just said stop, so I'm going to stop right now. And I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see the cards a little better. So let's see how this works here. Okay, I'm going to put the cards. Oops, sorry about that. This is not very easy to do. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull the cards. So here are the cards. And you can see I'm pulling the one on the top. And this card is... This looks like the so the nine of wands, I guess, is what this one would be. He's playing with the yarn, and the 9 of wands is okay. I'm just going to put this here against this glass thing so that we can see it a little bit better. So the 9 of wands, I can't remember what the meaning behind it is, but maybe if I pull another card, maybe I'll be able to understand a little bit what's going on here. The Star card. Okay. Interestingly enough, I will convey to you who I spoke to through this, because I think it's kind of interesting that I picked the Star card. I'm not going to pull another card. I'm just going to use I'm going to try and go with the two of these that I have here. I've got the 9 of wands and the Star card. And as usual, nothing wants to work here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, these two cards are what I pulled, and I think that maybe the meaning behind them will become clearer as I read the meditation. That is what I am being drawn to understand, and maybe as I read, then I will better understand what the meaning behind these two cards are. So here we go, and I won't forget where the cards are when I finish, because they're right behind the mobile. So we're on day 15th, and today is March 27th, 2025. And I said, it is my hope that today will be a beautiful day. And Ramón says it will be. The sun is shining and the sky is blue. And I said, that was my first German sentence when I was in college. Die Sonne scheint und der Himmel ist blau. Ramón says, yes, I remember. A lot of people asked you why you wanted to learn German. And somehow you simply knew that you would end up here or there. I said, yeah, Ramón, can we talk about what is happening in the world? Yesterday, Sunshine explained to me that there was not any fast forward with time, but how is it that the time goes so quickly or feels like it's going quickly? I'm trying to really, I'm trying really hard to wrap my brain around all of this. The whole thing just feels really strange to me. And Ramón says, time is really an interesting thing to talk about. You love Doctor Who because it addresses the notion of time, the time it takes to do certain tasks. Everything is in essence measured by time, although it is one thing that you cannot pick up. Did you ever notice that time itself is a noun, but you cannot pick it up and say, here is time? The state of time is merely to gauge the events of life as they play out. You have discussed the notion of shift and change with Sunshine, but the entire idea is not a simple process to define. You are in a place in time where all the things that are measured by human conditions, weights and measures are gauged by scales and whatnot, but these are all finite things that you can pick up. That is to say, they are physical. A watch can gauge the passage of time, but time cannot be picked up. So it is the same with air pressure and temperature. The actual temperature outside is a simple feeling of coolness or warmth, the things that are in essence measured by instruments. So, like the idea of time and temperature being measured by clocks or thermometers, they cannot be picked up. Other elements like air pressure are the same. There are others, perhaps, that would diverge into a physics discussion as opposed to being a spiritual one. So back to the notion of time in a spiritual context. Do you remember the Doctor Who episode where a companion was brought into that alternate reality and was separated from and they were separated from one another through a portal? I said, sure, it was a very sad story. Ramón says it was more fact than science fiction. There are alternate realities. When you one day transition, you will experience one of those realities. The notion of there being a sort of alternate reality is precisely the idea. The use of time in relation to it is similar. There is another reality where time would pass as it does in your reality, but where different decisions are or were made, and the world comes through in a positive way. And I said, why? And Ramón says, easy. The people of that alternate plane of existence are more aware of their spiritual nature. When people are aware of their spiritual identity, they are less inclined to choose things that are to their detriment. Whereas when people choose as your society did, then the karmic response is the outcome. I said, yes. I said, a lot of people did not choose that outcome. It's sort of the innocent bystanders. And Ramón says, true. But it may surprise you to know that many enlightened beings are in your world with the hope of assisting those left behind to advance their knowledge. It is like having a tutor. You are falling behind in any given subject at school, so what do? I said, I ask someone who knows the subject matter to help me along. And Ramón says, yes, it is like your radio operator's exam. You struggled with the technical aspects of the radio, so you took an online course to help you navigate those waters. If every human being was on the same level, then there would be no reason for anyone to learn anything. In other words, one could strip away the notion of education, but there is no way for it to be completely eradicated. And I said, why? Ramón said, because human beings are, at the root of their beings, curious. People want to learn. The more they know, the better they will be at navigating the ups and downs of life on Earth. The trouble is, those who have power over so many know that knowledge means that each individual will be aware of the issues that they are having to contend with. When people are ignored, they are easier to control, to dictate his thinking and ideas. Oftentimes, people are easily manipulated by the shiny objects that are placed before them. They are told what to think and how to think. When people lose their ability to think critically, then they are nothing more than cattle being led to slaughter. They lose that part of their human spirit because their actions are controlled by the self-professed leader who claims that they have their best interests at heart. And I said, why do people let it happen? And Ramon says, because it is all they know. Look at your background. When you were in Houston, you kept the peace within your surroundings by conforming your thoughts and ideas to suit others. When you dated that one man who later turned out to be emotionally bad for you, he did teach you the very important lesson to not allow those around you to control you. Yes, you eventually went from one extreme circumstance to another extreme circumstance, but you learned through it to break free from it, break free from the control drama at home. Then once you were able to break free from it, you were able to break free from the second one. The lessons you learned were invaluable. Today, you are able to see them for what they are and avoid them. It is rather like the discussion a few days ago about avoiding problems because you chose it differently when you made the decisions that were similar to earlier decisions. You understood that life lessons would appear in many guises, but at the same time, they were the core of decisions that you had made before. That is why you argued that historians and politicians do not get along. The politician wants you to make a decision akin to decisions you had made before. A historian will say, if you choose the same option as before, then the outcome will be the same. Metatron and Nigel both outlined this idea, and today you are once again being faced with it. The problem is the politicians are literally screaming at you and trying to persuade you that their ideas will not reap the same conclusions as the ones that were made before. And then Einstein comes in and says, they are insane. They want to reinvent the wheel. The world operates on physics and science, and they would rather jump off the cliff with paper wings and hope that they will land on the ground. I said, Professor Einstein, what are your thoughts about what is happening today? And he says, it is a repeat of history. You have a very good idea and way of looking at this, Yvette. The world is a place where they could easily destroy humanity, not with weapons, but with ignorance. Ignorance is the most damaging thing there is. The denial that science gives the world answers or can cure the world of disease through hard work and study. Well, many diseases are staging a comeback because of ignorance. I said, what do you suggest we do? And Einstein says, study, not be ignorant. Learn and trust that people have an understanding of the way the world works. Respect teachers and those learned persons who understand the ways things work. Do not listen to or pay heed to those who believe that the issues will go away. They will not. I devoted my life to study of science. I understood that there are those who would argue that my life's work was a fallacy. But the reality is not that. It is the idea that people must take that which they learned and expound on it. Study further into relativity, not be a smartass, but to understand further the way space, time, and science work. When you deny people of the notion of knowledge, then people might as well devolve back to the caveman days. They seem to basically be walking around with clubs saying, ugh, before hitting another over the head with it. What a tragic state of being. I said, oh, I agree. People are being dumbed down, and it is mostly by politicians who use that ignorance to control. I am married to a scientist, and he is always angered by the extreme stupidity in the world. Einstein says, you are one of the few who may not know a lot about science, but you are wise enough to respect it. There is far too little of that left in the world. And I said, thank you, Professor. I appreciate you coming in. And he says, I've been around listening since perhaps as long as you have been speaking with Ramón. I just didn't see the need to come in until now. I said, well, I appreciate you for doing so. You are one of the greatest minds of the 20th century, and it is an absolute honor. And Einstein says, thank you, or should I say, danke sehr, mach weiter. I said, I will, danke sehr. And Ramón says, he explained that well, did he not? I said, yes, thank you, Ramón. That was very insightful. And Ramón says, well, tomorrow's another day, so let's leave it at that. And that was where the meditation ended. So when Einstein said, mach weiter, he meant keep going in the direction that you are going in. And I said, thank you, I will. So back to the cards. Okay, I'm going to turn this back around and we're going to look at these cards a little bit closer. Okay. Also, keeping in mind that I am not a tarot reader, I never professed to be a tarot reader, but I find these cards interesting. What I understand is the Nine of Wands looks like that the cat has a little bit of a conflict going on because he is got the strings of one ball of yarn, and yet there are like 8 other balls of yarn that he has to look at, and he might be distracted by them. The expression that's on his face seems very content, even if he's not really quite sure which way he wants to go, which direction he wants to go in. But what I understand about the Nine of Wands is not very much. I just can look at this picture and I can see that there is a little bit of which way should I go on this. With the Star card, you've got the cat who's knocking over the glass of water. And I think that the glass of water is kind of about the knowledge of the world. And when you knock something over, then there is a chance that you can pick it up and put it back together, or you can leave it be. And since this is Major Arcana, this has a feel to me that the cat knows what he's doing. He is completely concentrated on what he's doing, and he has made this decision that this is what he's going to do. I have to pause. There goes the phone. Okay, I'm back from my telephone conversation. Unfortunately, it kind of drew me out of the mindset that I was in before the phone rang. So I think I'm just going to wrap it up and just tell you that this conversation today was very, very interesting, and and I was glad that the phone rang after the meditation had been read and not in the middle of it. So. At any rate, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel by subscribing and liking the videos and commenting. Comments are really great, and I love reading everything that people write about these meditations. So I wish you a wonderful day, and hopefully I can go and study up on my tarot and see see what these 2 cards actually meant instead of my waffling about with them. But at any rate, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and as always, namaste.